Like going in one more round when you don't think you can. That's what makes all the difference in your life.
There are so many examples in life where this statement is true. We have more in the tank than we usually think we do. When we think we're out of gas, we are almost invariably wrong. The human body and mind are capable of things largely beyond most imaginations. We're thankfully getting to see more and more of what is possible thanks to social media and advances in the use of our beloved internet. But just because you've seen what others can do doesn't mean it has an impact on what you believe you're capable of. I've seen some really impressive things, like people balancing all their body weight on one hand while the rest of their body seems to move like a series of snakes. It doesn't make me think I can do more, it only solidifies my limitations. Seeing the impressive doesn't always lead to thinking, well, if they can do that, certainly I can do this. It can, and hopefully it does. But there is one thing you can do, just one thing, that can show you exactly what you're capable of. Just keep trying. Go in one more round, and then one more round. Get up again, write more, have another conversation, keep moving, push harder, try again, go to failure and then go again, etc., etc. What's happening when you make a practice of this, whether it feels like it or not, is you are getting better, stronger, smarter, keener, more effective, more knowledgeable, more wise, more discerning. If you wish to test this theory, just think of something that you are still working on. Think back several iterations and ask if you plan on trying something again that didn't work last time. If you are planning on trying that version again, I bet you have some variations in mind that you'll try this time because that's the power of experience and why it is our most powerful educator. Failure is wildly effective because you have unmitigated truth about something not working, how it doesn't work, or why it doesn't work, and it leaves you with limited options. Stubbornly try the same thing again, insanity, or try something different. It's beautiful in its elegant simplicity. I can make a whole series on the topic of failure because I'm such a fan of what it can provide us. So for now, we'll stick to the following step: pressing on. You can hear about countless stories of incredibly successful people who failed repeatedly. You can find all kinds of quotes, memes, articles, content, and more on the imperative to keep going. What I can share that might be less trendy are some of my own experiences in hopes that you can relate, even in part, and know that you're not alone when the going gets tough. Physical. I had no idea you could make a full workday out of a physical test, but that's exactly what happens across numerous school affiliations when you endeavor to obtain advanced belts in Krav Maga. The first belt test is, or was for me, right around 4 hours, and they get progressively longer the further up the degrees you go. My brown belt test was 8 hours solid, and that's not counting showing up early to warm up and hanging around after to wrap up and drag your equipment where it needs to go next. And if you've got a teacher who means to ensure that you are worthy of the belt, he might be like mine was and is strongly opposed to pacing oneself. Our test, 40 minutes in, was halted so that he could yell to the group that he could see we were doing just that. If we continued to go at a pace that would allow us to go the distance, we were invited to go ahead and leave right then and there without our belts. It was full force for 8 hours. Absolutely nothing compared to Hell Week and Navy SEALs training, but more than most of us are asked to deliver in our day-to-day lives. We sparred, we drilled, we sprinted, we hit pads, sprinted some more, hit more pads, drilled some more, showcased our knowledge, sprinted more, you get it. Thankfully, I had other experiences prior to this, so I knew a bit more about my limits, but this was the first all-day punishment session I'd signed up for and, despite my previous experiences, was shocked at how much I could endure. The only answer was to keep swinging, keep running, keep getting up. Mental. Working for others is not my favorite. Call it a huge chip on my shoulder, problem with authority, Napoleon complex, I'm not a mountain of a man. I just do better with autonomy. It's one of many reasons I provide it so readily to those who work for me. One of my goals is twofold: to never have to work for others again, and to get my ideas out there on how to fight to make it better, whether you do or don't work for others. That's what this project is, a culmination of my two biggest dreams. I've played with the idea as early as 2015. I launched a site in 2019 and even had my first speaking gig. It's been started and stalled several times. I refuse to give up. I've kept conversations going with people who care about me and, therefore, keep getting new information, introduced to mentors and consultants, stumbling across relevant and useful tips on how to make it work, while simultaneously not concerning myself with whether or not it makes money. So if you're watching this, know that this is closing in on a decade of effort to get it to you. One step at a time, I keep trying. Emotional. Back in my corporate days, there was a job I'd had my eye on within months of starting the company. A leadership position that seemed perfect for my skills and sensibilities. I was declined for it 3 times before I was finally given a chance, and the 3 failures were years apart. Each time I was told almost the exact same feedback, and each time I spent years working on fixing that one thing they kept saying was the reason I wasn't getting the position. By the final decline, I was tired of it. Tired of trying, tired of changing myself, of making efforts to be a better version of me in the eyes of others. I was actually quite ready to give up. I was emotionally drained and was fed up with the people in authority positions, my job, the company. But instead of giving up, I gave it one more try. And this time, I sought help from a different source, one that hadn't been available to me before. They gave me great advice. I implemented it and got the job I'd been striving for the previous 5 years. That position ended up giving me an immeasurable amount of information and experience into the concepts I'm teaching today. It was absolutely worth it to get back up one more time. One major key to this is to forego perfection. Not the attempt at perfection, because that can help you get to excellence, but forget about being perfect in whatever the thing is. It's not always going to be pretty. It's not always going to look cool. It's not always going to sound like you wanted it to, look like your vision, end exactly like you wanted or with the results you hoped for. Sometimes it's going to be sloppy, rough-edged, clumsy, painful, humiliating, and even concerning. But it will always be educational. The principle. Don't underestimate your stamina to achieve. Just keep putting in the effort, and at the very worst, you will learn more. Want to see other ways you can push yourself and improve your view of the world and yourself? Watch this video on Creep Tingles. Thanks for watching the video, and be sure to subscribe for more like it. Click on the notification bell to be alerted to new videos.